Courtney Clenney spent more than 4 hours in a police interview after Christian Obumseli was stabbed and died. 4 years later, she accepted responsibility for manslaughter with a deadly weapon and received 6 years in prison. But the tape came first. Watch the order at the beginning. Detectives explain her rights. She asks about a lawyer, and then she asks whether Christian is dead. No body language verdicts. The question is how her recorded account compares with what she later accepted in court, and what changed between those two rooms.
It's in the court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer or for advice before we ask any questions. You have the right to have a lawyer with you during questioning. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights.
Yeah, you can reread it. Take your time, reread it again. Same thing you read.
This is where I would like to call my dad and say, can I just do this? Or should I have to get a lawyer? Because I realize, like, how very serious this is. Like, I was sitting there in a freaking puddle of my boyfriend's blood begging him to, like, please not, like, fucking give up on me. Like, man, like, this shit is fucking serious.
The better decision for all of us, it's getting your story, you know. You were there, you know, you were. So you.
My boyfriend is not dead, is he?
Well, he can't talk to us right now either way. He's in the hospital.
Jack is a homicide.
Yeah, so I don't know.
It's like the Dexter vibe. All of these things are like.
To you on scene. It's Sunday, so Sunday's the message.
Now listen for the core of Clenney's account. She tells detectives she was scared. She says she grabbed a knife as Christian approached, and she describes warning him not to come closer. Those are her statements, not findings from the narrator. What matters is the sequence she gives them: fear, movement, the knife, and the warning. What does that sequence explain, and what does it leave for investigators to test?
Where I couldn't breathe and I was on the floor. I could not breathe. And I don't think that he is trying to kill me, but I was scared. And all 3 times I have been scared. By the couch, kissing toward the kitchen. I was in the kitchen. And then he just, like, I could see, like, all the whites in his eyes, and he was, like coming at me. And so I grabbed one of these knives. My mom got me for Christmas. I grabbed one of them. And I was like, I swear to God. I swear to God. But if he's, like, choking me or, like, pinning me or something and I can't breathe, he might go too long. So I grabbed my knife and I said, don't come anywhere closer to me. I had absolutely no intention of using it. I'm on the phone with my mom, and he's coming at me like he's going to grab either the phone or, like, the knife or something. And so I was just like, I was like, don't come any closer.
The conversation then widens from the final moments to the relationship around them. Clenney describes earlier violence and an earlier knife incident. She also says she called 911 and returns to why she says she was afraid. Keep the attribution straight. Her account, not a court finding. It's one person giving detectives the history she says shaped her decision that day, while the camera records what she chose to tell them. Hold on to that distinction. It matters when the court record arrives.
Just like after, we shouldn't be together.
You guys have a history of domestic violence?
Yeah.
You say you've been together how long, sir?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
2 years.
So how many incidents you think you've had?
I don't know, but we shouldn't be together.
We say 1 or 2, or just too many to...
Oh my God! I don't know how.
Why was he threatening suicide?
I don't remember exactly what the situation was, but he was he had taken a knife. He grabbed it in front of my face, and then I got scared, and he was kind of waving it at me, but it wasn't for me. And then he took it into the extra room and slammed the door. And he has a history of self-harm, so I was kind of just like, okay. I was the one who called 911. Because I was literally asking him, what is our address, because I could not think straight. Baby, what is our address?
Today?
It was today. Okay, so there was that one. But the cops have been up there one other time yesterday. I actually don't know.
Well, that's what
I
we're
really
trying to
don't
figure
know,
out.
because I know I was scared, but I really don't know.
So you got the knife.
Because I grabbed a knife. I grabbed a knife and I said, like, pretty much just like, don't get any close to me. And then came with me, said something, came with me. And then I just like threw it.
Next, the account becomes physical. Clenney describes how she held the knife, what she did immediately afterward, where Christian fell, and an earlier blow she says she received. Watch how detectives move from a broad claim of fear to details that can be compared: position, movement, location, and aftermath. A behavioral analysis film can point to that change without pretending it can reconstruct the fatal injury from gestures in an interview room.
So from like beside your head.
Holding it, yeah. So not like, okay, like I'm holding it like this. This is not the knife, the
blade to it?
Right, the blade. I for dang sure did not stab him. That would be insane. I mean, I didn't even think that this would touch him. But, I mean, I thought that it would scare him.
He fell.
I ran over to him and grabbed him, and, like, it was just like a blur. But I ran over to him, and I grabbed him, and I just said, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? Like, I'm, like, the worst person to be around. What do I do? And he said, call somebody. And I was on the phone with my mom. He walked closer to the door because we ended up closer over there. I think, yeah, he fell down close to the couch.
Yeah.
There's probably blood all over that white couch. I mean, I bet you anything is everywhere. We somehow ended up over, like, by the extra bathroom in our, like, little, like, laundry closet. I don't remember when that was.
Close fist or how?
I'll just leave that out, because I remember there was a time when he hit me really hard in the head, and I was kind of discombobulated, but I can't even remember when it was. It might have just been, like, when we were drunk, but I know it happened, so I'll just leave that out, because I can't give you exact facts.
Okay.
And I don't want to lie about anything.
Hours into the interview, the question changes. A detective says there is no dispute about who stabbed Christian. Clenney is then told he died, and the discussion turns to where the fatal injury landed. This is the hinge. Identity is no longer the issue. Responsibility is. The unresolved question is what legal responsibility should follow from the act and the account she gave for it. What do you make of that shift?
Yeah, so
Okay.
they just want you to identify.
Okay.
Yeah, and I honestly, I said, I don't have a problem with that. You know, I mean, this is not a who stabbed Christian case. This is, you know, we know what happened. Well, we know part of what happened.
I
So,
will feel so much better once they just say he's stable.
yeah.
Because I've been asking so
and
much.
that's what we're waiting for.
No, that's not true. That's not real, right?
It is real.
Christian is dead.
Yes.
They're not going to lie.
I know, I just can't believe it.
I'll talk to your parents. I'll get them. I'm going to get your parents here ASAP.
We spoke to your parents, and they're trying to do everything possible to get here as soon as possible as well.
God forbid, when, like, from far away, what if it had accidentally hit a little bit lower and he died? That's what I said. You remember? I said, God forbid. Then a few minutes later.
So we can't change what's occurred and forget them before. So just step by step. So you'll get through this, all right?
On August 10th, 2026, the answer arrived in court. The state announced an amended charge of manslaughter with a deadly weapon, carrying a maximum of 30 years. The prosecutor then set out the agreement. Clenney accepted criminal responsibility, 6 years in prison, and 5 years of probation. Notice what changed and what didn't. The old murder prosecution didn't become a murder conviction. The operative judgment is manslaughter.
Yes, Judge, and in anticipation of this plea, the state has filed an amended information charging the defendant with 1 count of manslaughter with a deadly weapon. It is a first-degree felony punishable up to 30 years in state prison. That changes her guideline score from what it was to now 124.5 months in state prison up to 30 years in state prison.
All right, Mr. Prieto?
Yeah, Judge, we've entered plea not guilty, demand discovery, and request trial by jury at this time.
That being said, I understand the parties have reached a resolution in this case where Ms. Clenney will be pleading guilty. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right.
That is
Mr.
correct,
Adler?
Judge. I am passing up the written plea agreement that is signed by not only the state, the defendant, but also all of her attorneys. Major part of this, Judge, is that she's pleading guilty to this amended information, to the charge that was announced just now. There's a factual proffer that's a part of this plea agreement. We're going to ask Your Honor to read it. She will be agreeing to that factual proffer, but most importantly, she is agreeing and admitting that she is the cause of the stab wound that Mr. Obumseli received, and then that she is taking criminal responsibility for her actions. As part of this plea agreement, the state is willing to accept her plea. We've discussed this at length with the next of kin and certainly with Mr. Hanfield. And certainly when there's any agreement, no one is happy at the end of this, and we understand that. But the agreement that the state is willing to accept is that the defendant would be adjudicated guilty. She'll be sentenced to 6 years in state prison, followed by 5 years of reporting probation. As part of her probation, she must complete a mental health evaluation and treatment. There's a time frame in which she is to complete it. That's part of the plea agreement. Substance abuse evaluation and treatment. That's also a time constraint that's going to be in the agreement. And then it's 60 days, Your Honor. And then the batter's intervention program. If she does violate her probation in any way at any point, she's waiving extradition back to Florida.
The court didn't describe the resolution as simple. It referred to years of investigation, experts, and litigation over self-defense and battered partner issues. Then came the agreed factual proffer. This is the anchor. It described a tempestuous relationship, the emergency response, and Clenney's responsibility for the stabbing injury that killed Christian Obumseli. It doesn't settle every disputed incident in their relationship. It does set the event Clenney accepted in court after years of argument over what that event meant.
That preparation consisted of a thorough investigation that included, but was not limited to, the routine discovery process that is involved in a complex criminal case, as well as literally thousands of pages of legal motions and responses, the consultation of experts from both sides who opined on various legal issues, such as self-defense, battered partner syndrome, and issues regarding manner of death. Based on the investigation of the case and the resulting legal analysis of the strengths and weaknesses of this case from both the state's perspective as well as the defense, and perhaps most importantly, the victim's family's wishes to bring closure to this horrific and life-changing experience, the parties have reached a resolution that this court will not frustrate. The state of Florida and the defendant agree as to the following factual proffer. A. Christian Obumseli, hereafter the victim, and the defendant began dating in late 2020. Their relationship is defined by the parties as being extremely tempestuous and combative, as both have been involved in numerous domestic violence incidents. B. The victim and the defendant moved to South Florida in January 2022, taking up residence in a condominium located at One Paraiso Residences, located in Miami-Dade County. There were many complaints made by residents and security staff lodged against the couple during the 3 months that they resided in the complex. As a result, the management company was in the process of evicting the couple. C. On April 3rd, 2022, Miami Police and Miami Fire Rescue responded to their condo after a 911 call was made reporting a stabbing. Officers found the victim with a singular stab wound to the chest. After the incident, the defendant provided a knowingly, intelligent, and voluntarily made statement to the police, confirming that she was responsible for the stab wound. The knife penetrated approximately 8 centimeters into the victim's chest, puncturing the right subclavian artery. The victim was transported to Jackson Memorial Hospital, where he died from his injuries.
A guilty plea is more than a single answer. The judge reviews the rights Clenney is giving up, including the right to a trial, and asks whether she still wants to plead guilty. Listen to the full exchange rather than pulling out only the final words. The court later found that decision knowing and voluntary. By this point, the record has moved from an interview account to an adjudicated plea.
Have you understood everything that was discussed with your attorneys prior to coming to court, as well as what we're doing here in court today?
Yes, Your Honor.
I understand you wish to plead guilty to manslaughter in exchange for the plea that was read into the record a moment ago. Has anyone, including your own attorney, promised you anything other than that?
No.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or coerced you to accept a plea at this time?
No.
Do you understand if you are not a United States citizen, this plea will result in negative immigration consequences such as deportation or removal?
Yes.
Have you spoken to your attorneys about that, and do you still wish to accept this plea knowing that?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand you're waiving your right to a trial?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand you're waiving your right to remain silent, and that silence cannot be used against you at trial?
Yes.
Do you understand you're waiving your right to testify?
Yes.
Do you understand you're waiving your right to confront, cross-examine, and present witnesses?
Yes.
Do you understand you're waiving your right to hold the state of Florida to its burden of proving the case beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes.
Do you understand you're waiving your right to appeal?
Yes.
The following question does not seem to apply in this case, but I have to ask in every case. Do you understand if the offense to which you are pleading is a sexually violent or sexually motivated offense, or if you've been previously convicted of such an offense, this plea may result in involuntary civil commitment as a sexually violent predator upon the completion of your sentence?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand if you violate the terms and conditions of your probation, you're facing up to 30 years in the state prison?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you still wish to plead guilty?
I do.
The judge accepts the plea, adjudicates Clenney guilty of manslaughter with a deadly weapon, and imposes 6 years in prison, followed by 5 years of reporting probation. The announced conditions include evaluation and treatment requirements, and a batterer's intervention program. Counsel then addresses credit for custody, beginning August 10, 2022. That credit matters, but it is not permission to guess an exact release date before Florida authorities calculate it.
Ms. Clenney, I find the plea has been entered into knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently, that you understand the nature and consequences of the plea, there's a factual basis for the plea, and that you're represented by good and competent counsel with whom you say you're satisfied. At this time, I will be adjudicating you, and I'm going to turn to page 3 of 8, to the charge of manslaughter with a deadly weapon. I'm sentencing you to 6 years in the state prison with all applicable credit for time served, followed by 5 years of reporting probation. As a condition of that probation, you will complete a mental health evaluation and all required treatment deemed necessary. You will complete a substance abuse evaluation and complete all required treatment deemed necessary, as well as completing the batterer's intervention program within the first year of probation. As I said, there are some other provisions contained within this written plea agreement that will be made part of the judgment and sentence. I'm assessing court costs and any and all statutory and mandatory fines. You will be fingerprinted. We should have DNA on file. Before we turn it to the victim impact portion, is there anything further on behalf of the state?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Defense?
Yeah, Judge, I would just, as far as corrections in computing her time served, to remember she was initially detained in Hawaii when she was in the rehab facility, so her actual booking date here at TGK does not reflect all of her credit for time served. I don't have the date of arrest, but I believe the date of arrest in Hawaii was August 10th of 2022, so she should receive all credit for time served from that date moving forward.
Does the state agree?
But Judge, the only issue is going to be, one, there has to be an order for it. Otherwise, it's
I'm
going
happy to sign the order.
Otherwise, it's going to be from the time in which she was brought into custody. So,
Right, so if you're in agreement, let's draft an order, credit for time served on August 10th, 2022.
We will do that. We'll have it to Your Honor today.
All right, anything further on behalf of the defense?
The police tape preserved Clenney's account of fear and the knife. The plea hearing preserved the responsibility she ultimately accepted and the sentence the court imposed. Put those records together. The real story is not a body language verdict. It is the distance between an explanation given in an interview room and a manslaughter judgment entered 4 years later. Christian Obumseli's death is not a plot device in that distance. It is why the questions, the evidence, and the exact legal words matter. I am Carson Morgan. Until next time, stay curious. Stay safe.